Good evening, dear viewers. This is OBN Horn of Africa English News Broadcast. I'm Aklilu Gabru with the latest news of the hour, commencing with the headlines. Fifth regular session of Cafe Oromia comes to an end. UN marks World Population Day amid warnings. With our first story, President Sahle-Work Zewde bid farewell to the outgoing ambassador of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, Mr. Jean-Marc Hoschet, the office of the president said. It is indicated that the president thanked the ambassador for his contribution to strengthening relations between the two countries. According to the office of the president, they both recalled that the ambassador had previously presented his credentials to the president when she was Director General of the United Nations office at Nairobi. It is known that Ethiopia and Luxembourg have established diplomatic relations on 19 March 1918 when accredited first ambassador of Ethiopia to Luxembourg, Dr. Gabrai Birhane. Moving on, Ethiopia has secured more than 1.3 billion USD during the concluded budget year by exporting 240,000 tons of coffee. The nation's plan was to secure 1.8 billion US dollars during the stated period. Despite all the challenges the coffee market faced at the global level, the revenue gained is almost closer to the last year's achievement, which was 1.4 billion USD, according to the Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority. Promoting coffee in the global market, reform activities undertaken aimed at ensuring the benefits of farmers and penetrating into the new markets were some of the major players for the revenue obtained. The efforts being taken to curb illegal coffee trade by developing software and strengthening coordination works with stakeholders were also among the measures undertaken during the just concluded Ethiopian fiscal year. The country managed to export 300,000 tons of coffee last year and secured about 1.4 billion USD, Ethiopian news agency reported. President of the Oromia Regional State, Shimallis Abdiisa, says the majority of budget of the 2030-2014 fiscal year will be utilized for poverty reduction sectors. The 6th fifth regular session second working year concluded through passing various decisions. Leta Teresa reports.
The fifth regular session of the Cafe Oromia is underway for the second day. On the occasion, President of the Oromia Supreme Court, Ghazali Abbas Simal, has presented the 2022/2023 Court's Performance Report and the 2023/2024 Work Plan. In his report, the President noted that the courts in Oromia have been playing their role in building democratic system through improving justice system in the region. According to him, efforts were made to address challenges faced by Oromia courts. Ghazali further explained that the work performance of the Oromia courts in their budget year was productive.
Regarding enhancing accessibility of legal service, work has been done so that judicial service will be accessible, swift, and effective, and enable clients to get their justice in a short period of time. Efforts were also made in fulfilling technologies enabling courts make their services accessible. On the other hand, customary courts have been established with the aim allowing the communities solve their disputes at their vicinity, backing to their culture and values. The move has produced good results. Regarding improving legal service swiftness, the work of establishing systems and implementing them as well as creating awareness was done in order to make the service of courts be delivered in a required period and to make clients not to be incur unnecessary costs.
President Ghazali Abbas Simal has also presented the court's plan for the 2023/2024.
The following major activities will be carried out in the 2023-2024 budget plan with due emphasis. To ensure quality of legal service, the started works will be retained, especially as a lower level costs. Work will be carried out in collaboration with all levels of justice bodies for the existence of balanced independence and responsibility. Efforts will also be intensified so that all court communities will carry out their duties in accordance with the professional ethics required in the legal service delivery.
President of the Supreme Court further elaborated that maximum efforts will be made to achieving the foundational objective of the traditional courts through providing them with the necessary support. Commenting on the presented report, a government whip at the Chafe, Fikadu Tasama applauded the role of customary courts and the improvements observed in the provision of the legal service.
The establishment of traditional courts, which is a great initiative taken by the regional government of Oromia, has played immense role in the improvement seen in the legal service delivery.
Members of the Chafe have also commended the role of traditional courts in resolving disputes in the community.
President of the Oromia Supreme Court, Ghazali Abbas Simal, says maximum efforts are underway in utilizing technologies to provide swift and accessible legal service. The President has presented performance reports of the Supreme Court to the Chafe Oromia. Lata Teresa again has more on that.
The fifth regular session of the Chafe Oromia that was held for 2 days in Adama City at Chafe Conventional Hall was concluded. The Chafe has approved 221.5 billion birr budget for 2023-2024 fiscal year. President of the Oromia Regional State Shimalis Abdisa said the majority of the approved budget would be used for poverty alleviating sectors like education, health, clean drinking water, and agriculture, which gets special attention in the budget allocation.
Most of the
Oromia regional state budget is allocated for poverty reduction. For example, if we take the education sector, more than 56 billion birr is allocated for education up to the lower level. 38% is allocated for the education sector. For health sector, 20% of the budget is allocated, which amounts for 35 billion birr. For clean drinking water, 10%. For road, 9%. Likewise, agriculture takes its own share. As to be clear that most of the government investment is on those sectors.
He called upon government structures at all levels to aggressively work on collecting revenue for the success of the upcoming fiscal year's performance.
In general, the budget is huge. I want to call on the Chafe officials at each level to support us to collect the regional revenue 100%. We have to mobilize our integrated effort towards it. We hope that we'll transform our region in 2023-24. If we do so, surviving the global and national challenge, we could collect more than 60 billion birr, which is 40% increment. If we sustain this, we can reach higher level.
During a recession, the regional legislative body has approved various appointments. The Chafe has approved the appointment of Commissioner General Ararsa Mardasa, who was appointed as head of the Oromia Administration and Security Bureau. It has also approved the appointment of 53 judges. On the other hand, the Chafe has lifted immunity of its member, Tolera Ragasa. His immunity was revoked as he is suspected of murdering Desalegn Bokonja, who was the head of the Naqamte Town Prosperity Party office, and another individual, Daratu Takkale, when he was mayor of the town.
The Chafe Oromia has started its fifth regular session, second working year of the sixth Chafe yesterday here in Adama City. In its 2 days of session, the Chafe discussed various agendas and passed decisions. To tell us more about this and other related issues, I'm joined by our reporter, not only reporter of course, he's an editor as well as also newscaster, Anwar Khalil. Anwar, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Kalilu, for having me. And like you said, I was in Chafe Oromia's fifth ordinary session, which was held at Abagada Convention Center here in Adama. We were, of course, observing live that OBN has been transmitting, and OBN Horn of Africa is the second channel of OBN.
Can you tell us the summary of the two-day session of the 5th ordinary session of Chaffee Oromia, as much as possible in a initial form?
Well, the very thing I observed personally, the Chaffee has shown progress. I mean, I've been reporting for several times over the past years this Chaffee meetings, I mean, legislative body of Oromia State. And this Chaffee is full of youngsters and also dynamic in telling facts and asking truth. The executive body, of course, was the Chaffee members were controlling the executive body. That I can say, and I better say that. The meeting was wonderful, and reports were heard by Chaffee members, including first the head of the executive body of the region, President of Oromia State, Shimallis Abdisa, presented performance report of the region that were carried out, anyway, performance activities carried out in social, economic, and political spheres over the last 12 months or that budget year. In that, even something I should talk about is who opened this meeting. I should address that. Her Excellency Speaker of Chaffee Oromia, Saad Abdurrahman, opened the session officially, which we covered, and she said it would be worth it for the next budget year as well to strengthen the check and balance activities that I have told you earlier. The executive body would be checked and balanced by the legislative body or members of the Chaffee, and that would be strengthened, she said. And the same token, she said democracy and freedom of the public will be ensured by checking all corners of the region, she said. The other one is what President Shimallis Abdisa said regarding the Green Legacy Initiative, because I should take samples out of it. By the next budget year, the region will prepare 4.96 billion tree seedlings. This year, 4.9 billion tree seedlings have been prepared, and we're going to, of course, plantation of those seedlings, the saplings were started already. And on the 17th of July, together on a single daylight, 500 million tree seedlings will be planted, and President Shimallis called on the public to participate in that so that things will be all right. We can make the greener Ethiopia, greener Oromia, and we make Africa again an area of good climate. Those were the things. The other important thing I should raise and talk about is the coffee seedlings preparation. Coffee, as you know, Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee Arabica, and Ethiopia is exporting that. I mean, majority of the export products of Ethiopia goes to the coffee areas, not processed coffee. 1.3 billion coffee seedlings were prepared in Oromia, and already 1.1 billion coffee seedlings were planted. And also President Shimallis said 2.3 million jobs were created over the last budget year. Others also reacted to the ideas, comments, and queries raised by members of the Chaffee, including Vice President of Oromia State, Awolu Abdi. What Awolu said was, despite several challenges like drought, severe drought in Borana zone, for instance, and also security problems in Kellam Wallagga zone, projects were constructed in billions of birr and enagirad, it is said. So in general, what they meant was that dedicated leadership performed well over the budget year. That's I summarize that way. And also government whip with Chaffee Oromia Fikadu Tasamma said strengthening the activities that have been started to benefit the public will be strengthened as well. Already strong, but it will be strengthened. That's what I said. The other important key thing that Fikadu Tasamma and Shimallis Abdisa raised was they both called on armed forces operating in the region to come to a round table and resolve the problem of security, conflicts in the region through dialogue. President Shimallis yesterday called on the armed forces to come to a round table twice, and before 6 months as well, he called on that. And also Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali called on armed forces to come to a round table, democratically discuss issues. And the difference here that President Shimallis and Fukadu Tasamma said were that as per the Gada system, the values of reconciliation, mediation, arbitration, and the ilame in Afan Oromo, to mean dialogue, conversation, discussing issues in depth. So come to the table, let's discuss, let's resolve the problem of our region, and let's benefit our people, was the key thing. The important thing that we gotta tell the diaspora. President Shimallis Abdissa called on the diaspora to save money in Sinke Bank and then construct homes in Shaggar City, which is a new city that will be constructed, and that would stand the best city probably in Africa, because it is as per the plan that Oromia Regional State designed. So if the diaspora members come to this way of saving in Sinke Bank, Sinke, by the way, for our audience, let me tell you, Sinke is a very thin stick-like thing, let me say stick, that can ensure rights of women in the Gada system. So the name Sinke Bank is there, named that way. So President Shimallis, this is the most important thing, that's why I raised it. And our concern is also, our audience are also mostly the diaspora, they will listen, so we welcome. That's what President Shimallis said. The other important thing to talk about as of today's session, the Chafe has heard performance report of the Oromia Supreme Court, which President of Oromia Supreme Court, Ghazali Abbasimal, reported. And members of the Chafe appreciated performance of the Supreme Court, by the way. And President of the court, Ghazali Abbasimal, also thanked members of the Chafe. But much should be worked on, he said. You have worked on the news I know, a moment ago that the Chafe witnessed that performances were wonderful, were good by the court, but still there are things to be worked on. Like, for instance, a swift justice service. No matter what and how it has been hard reworked, I mean, hard the government has worked, things are a little bit tougher. Still there are gaps in the justice system, but appreciable compared to the previous one. Customary courts. In 6,202 villages of the region, customary courts were established, which on the news that earlier aired said traditional courts, which I say customary courts or Gada courts. Those courts, as per the tradition of Oromo people, were supporting, resolving problems of the society by giving justice, final decisions to the public.
That's great, Anwar. On the noon session, you told us about the immunity that's going to be lifted from one Chafe member. What can you tell us about that?
Well, let me shorten it. The guy was mayor of Nakamte town of East Wallagga zone, and he was suspected on crime committed, but killing of head of Prosperity Party office of Nakamte town. The term honorable means immunity when it comes to parliamentarians or Chafe members or Congress things. So today that has been lifted or revoked. So the guy will be, has lost that immunity today.
My very final question, is there any appointments or kind of judges appointment?
Well, 53 judges were appointed. I mean, their appointments were approved. And also head of Oromia Security and Administration Bureau, Ararsa Mardasa, was appointed as head of the bureau because he was commissioner of Oromia Police Commission. Ararsa Mardasa has got a degree in management and also LLB, law degree, and he is doing that, and he is appointed that way and presented by whip of the government, Fukadu Tasamma. One more thing I should talk about as our time is running. The Chafe was magnificent in its dressing, let me say that. The costume, the outfits, incredible. They have shown that the traditional Oromo dresses are beautiful. So I say it is about promoting. It is also supporting designers, local designers, and also, cottage industry in the region. That's all I have for now.
Thank you very much, Anwar, for your explanation, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
When I proceed to the next news items, Ministry of Agriculture disclosed that some 61,415 hectares of land has been prepared to plant 500 million seedlings in a single day. According to the ministry, mapping and greenlegacy.et website have been developed in order to make the planting activities directly accessible to people across the world. Fikadu Burhanu.
Speaking to Ethiopian news agency, Professor Iyasu Elias, State Minister of Agriculture, said that a total of 7 billion seedlings have been prepared in this year's Green Legacy program.
Next on Monday, July 17, 2023, 500 million seedlings will be planted in a single day with active participation of the public. We've prepared 7 billion tree seedlings at different nurseries with the government and other programs for this year's Green Legacy program. We've identified 9,500 sites that covers 361,415 hectares of land to plant 500 million tree seedlings in a single day.
The State Minister also said that 361,415 hectares of land has been prepared for planting 500 million saplings. He also pointed out that mapping and a green legacy.et website have also been developed in order to make the planting activity directly accessible to people across the world.
Land ጀንበር ተከላ 9500 ቦታ ሳይት ይሄ ከ1 ሄክታር በላይ የሆነ ቦታ ተመርጧል.
In cooperation with the Ministry of Innovation and Technology and Space Science Institute, 9,500 places have been included in the map and the website has been developed and enhanced. On the day, the sapling planting program will be sent to the center, while experts assigned in all places.
The State Minister called on citizens to come out and leave their legacy by planting seedlings on the day. According to him, over 25 million people are expected to participate in the event. He stated that 60% of the saplings to be planted for agroforestry, 30% for watershed development and forestry, and 5% for urban beautification. The State Minister urged Ethiopians to do their level best to realize the goal set.
20 billion አቅደን 25 ቢሊዮን አቺቭ ያደረግነው ክንውን የታየው በህብረተሰባችን ንቁ ተሳትፎ.
We've successfully achieved beyond our plan of first phase with active participation of our people. Now also I hope our people will repeat this history by actively participating in the program. We've already prepared the holes and seedlings.
The State Minister said experts are deployed in all areas to help people plant seedlings carefully and professionally. Recall that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed made a call for the planting of 500 million saplings in one day.
And I commend the government of Ethiopia that is doing so well in planting trees, because it's very important. By planting trees, we can minimize the desertification, and we can also stimulate the rain, so we can mitigate the effect of droughts, on the continent.
Well, with that, we come to the end of our today's news edition. Thanks for watching and have a great night.